Hi Gidamites. In the last few modules, we discussed Gandhi's role in India's national movement and how he was unique from other leaders of his time. Today we will discuss the 11 principles of Gandhi, which he followed throughout his life. These principles were popularly known as the 11 vows or ashram vows of Gandhi. As we have seen in the previous modules, Gandhi was a man of action and man of ideologies. He was not ready to compromise with the values that he stood for. His satyagraha itself means hold on to truth. Let us understand the principles and the contemporary relevance. The first principle was truth. Truth for Gandhi was God. He redirected the same maxim to God is truth. Is there any difference between these two statements? God is truth and truth is God. Yes, there is. While we say God is truth, the emphasis is on God. When we confirm truth is God, it sounds truth is the supreme authority and there are no other gods than truth. As we discussed earlier, Gandhi was attracted to the truth through the drama he had seen during his childhood. The drama of Harishchandra. Harishchandra's story influenced him to ask why everybody is not truthful like Harishchandra. Though it seems so much impossible in today's world of fake news and media to think about being honest, yes, it is possible to be truthful to oneself and others. The second principle or the second vow was non-violence. You know what is the meaning of non-violence, right? Usually we mean direct violence or physical violence with non-violence. But here Gandhi was telling, if you are really non-violent, you should be non-violent in your words, thoughts and your activities. You can see the wastages everywhere, right? So that is also a violence according to Gandhi. So in that way, all of us are doing some kind of violence every day. So we have to think about all these aspects. You can see when we are doing this kind of violence, wastage and so on, we are denying this right of food for some others. So you can see that how it is affecting the entire world. The third principle is non-possession. Non-possession means I'm not the owner of anything. It is sharing with other people. The trusteeship has a major role in the modern society where industrial relations between the rich and the poor are more complex. Trusteeship seeks some moral obligations from the part of the trustees and also from the part of the employers to reduce the conflict and to build the cooperation. The fourth principle is non-stealing. You know what is the meaning of stealing, right? Non-stealing is usually we mean not to take other people's property or material, but stealing has a lot of other meaning also. For example, when we are exploiting the nature, we are stealing from other generation. You know the term sustainable development, right? And during the 1980s, there was a debate in the world whether we are going through the right track of development. Then one committee was appointed, Bretland Committee was appointed, and they defined sustainable development as the development which meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the abilities of future generation. That means when we are exploiting the nature, exploiting the environment, we are exploiting the future. So overconsumption of natural resources is considered as a threat to humankind as well as to the environment. Limitation of wants can be considered as an important aspect of Gandhian economics. Gandhi urged us to minimize our wants, to minimize the consumption and thus reduce the burden on nature by avoiding hazardous wastes and so on. So the fifth principle is bread labor. The meaning is very clear from the term itself. Bread is our fruit. Also on food, we need to do some physical labor. That is the meaning of bread labor. According to Gandhi, if all of us work together for our bread, distinctions of rank in society would be wiped out. He developed his policies on education based on this principle. The idea is that every healthy individual must labor enough for his food and his intellectual facilities should be exercised not in order to obtain a living, mass wealth or fortune, but at the same time for the service of the society. If this principle is observed everywhere, all men would be equal, none would starve, and world would be saved from sin. That is what Gandhi opined. According to Gandhi, the Gandhian concept of bread labor encourages the use of human hands and body instead of machines to produce essential items like vegetables, clothes, etc. So that's the sixth principle of brahmacharya. Brahmacharya principle, actually it means to abstain from sexual activities, but it has another meaning of self-discipline. So it's one's own self-control, or it is one's own discipline, character building. In that way, it is also one of the major concepts in Gandhian philosophy. The seventh principle is fearlessness. In whatever situation comes in our life, we should be fearless. That is the principle of Satyagraha. Fearlessness is one of the characters. That is why he said, my non-violence is not the non-violence of the coward. It is the non-violence of the brave. So another principle is control of the palate. It's control of our food habit. You know, nowadays, our lifestyle diseases are increasing. A lot of health issues are going on because of our food habit and so on. Control of the palate means control of our own food. The ninth principle is removal of untouchability. You know, during Gandhi's time, untouchability was one of the greatest sin of that. He wanted to remove untouchability from the society. So he wanted the people to go for indoor dining, which was unimaginable at those days. And he also conducted several inter-caste marriages. If you want one nation, we should not have any kind of discrimination. The 10th principle is the most important economic principle of Gandhi, that is Swadeshi. You know the principle that Swadeshi means using one's own nation's product. So the scope of Swadeshi is infinite in the era of globalization, when the global economy demands the integration of local and transnational economies. Globalization, in a way, is the victory of the capitalist mode of production and large-scale industrialization, and also it demands the mass production instead of the production by the masses, thus reducing the employment opportunities. The process of globalization also accelerates the wider gap between the rich and the poor people, as well as between the nations. The economic benefits of globalization are always fluctuating, and each nation is insecure and unstable depending on the fluctuations in the world economy. At least India should be self-sufficient in food grain production and the production of daily use of commodities. Swadeshi also reduces the environmental risk of export-led industrialization, the root cause of environmental devastation. The last principle was Sarva Dharma Samabhava. Sarva means all, Dharma means religion, Samabhava means equal consideration. So this means equal consideration of all the religions. So Gandhi believed that all the religions, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Islam, Christianity, whatever it is, these are all different paths to achieve certain destination. He believed that Sarva Dharma Samabhava, equal consideration of all religions, will make India very strong. So these are the principles. Just describing what is the meaning of these principles, you can imagine, you can use your intelligence to understand how relevant these principles are in today's world.